Dear shareholders, it is a pleasure for me to be able to address myself to you, even if this is virtual via video conferencing. Today, we organize the annual general meeting of WISeKey for the year 2019. And as you know, due to the current situation with the COVID in Switzerland, the recommendation was to organize this meeting without any physical presence from shareholders and the staff of WISeKey. So this event was organized at the offices of the lawyers in Switzerland, and under the supervision of CompuShare, we recorded the vote. So I am pleased to tell you that all the recommendations made by the board of directors of WISeKey has been accepted unanimously by the General Assembly, and a press release was issued this morning describing that process. As I was not able to address myself to you during this General Assembly because we have nobody attending, I would like to make what we call the chairman presentation in a post-meeting environment and just give you also updates on the company, as many of you have requested for me to give you some ideas and visions on where the company is now and what are our situation towards the year 2020. So as I had the opportunity to address during several press releases we made as information from the CEO, the company has been very active during this COVID situation. We put as a first priority our staff in safe locations, so they started to work from home. And we very early at the beginning of the pandemic, we managed to protect our staff, which was obviously our first priority. This has been done during the last 2 months. Work from home was organized, which in our case does not really affect too much the company, because as a cybersecurity company, we have all the technology required to work from home, as we can encrypt emails, we can encrypt communications, we can secure access, and cybersecurity company, IoT companies are always in a priority and preferred situation when they work from home. So this was achieved. There was no major issues during their operations, and now as Switzerland has decided to start the process of reintegrating into the workforce and go physically to the offices in the after the lockdown process. We are doing in a way that allows the staff to maintain the safety distance recommended by the Swiss government, and we have created shifts that allows staff to go one day and another day no to the company. So I just want to reassure you that all the critical operations of the company, data centers, laboratories, chip manufacturing process, all that is working. And we don't expect any major issues in the months to come, despite obviously the health emergency that is affecting many countries. WISeKey has staffs in France, a strong location in the southern part of France. We have staff in the United States, in Japan, in Taiwan, and many other places. And we are ensuring that everybody's safe and everybody's effectively working from home. In what concerns the company, I would like to share with you some slides that gives you a perspective on where we are and what we are doing. So as I announced, last year was an important year. It was a year of transition, as last year WISeKey divested from the operations of Covadis. As you remember, when we acquired Covadis 2 years ago, the idea was to integrate the some of the technology Covadis have developed into the WISeKey platform, and the rest of the technology, which was less strategic for us, in particular the SSL technology, which is what it is required as HTTPS to secure a website. WISeKey has its own technology. We acquired Covadis technology because we wanted to expand it in Europe, but the SSL technology was not something that we wanted to invest any further. and we got a good offer from DigiCert of $45 million cash, and basically we agreed that that money will be better used by investing in IoT, in artificial intelligence, and the new generation of microchips than just maintaining the SSL technology. Obviously, that had consequences, as we had a $25 million revenue coming from the SSL technology that we lost in 2019. But we believe that even we have less revenue, we are in a much better position now to position ourselves as a major player in a very high growth market, which is the IoT. So in that slide, you see the WISeKey solution. So we are moving towards what we call an integrated security platform. Security is becoming a major issue more and more, especially now with the COVID-19 situation. What we call the COVID economy will require a strong authentication of people, a strong authentication of hardware, a strong authentication about managed services. So everything is going to require trust companies like WISeKey to ensure that the products are legitimate, the people are not fake, the information is real. So all that integrity then is required to go into the network is an integrity that WISeKey can provide to on its technology. So the company has been very focused on also on the new generation of secure hardware. We believe that putting identity into objects and let those objects connected to the internet is something that will reduce drastically the cyber attacks that currently IoT infrastructure has. You know, I made several presentations in channels, TV, World Economic Forums, and other during this year and last year about the danger of not authenticating objects. And the reason is the objects are getting connected to clouds. Every time an object sends data to clouds, the clouds analyze the data using artificial intelligence. And that data has to be high quality. If an object sends wrong data or fake data, or the object is not an authentic object, it will compromise the entire cloud to chip to cloud security than WISeKey's position. So this chip to cloud is something that you can only achieve if you have assets. So WISeKey owns all the assets and allows us to, within the company IP and patents, to be able to provide this chip to cloud security integrity that many other companies cannot provide. So we have been reinforcing our product portfolio, a very strong positioning, as you know, in digital brand protection. This is something the company had in the last years. We started in the jewelry industry, but digital brand protection is expanding to many other products, including pharmaceutical products, consumer goods, textiles, even low pricing products require digital brand protection. This is a big possibility. We have recruited just a few weeks ago a top executive on digital brand protection, which was the CTO of one of the leading companies in the world on that, which is OPSEC. And this executive is now fostering and further developing our digital brand protection offering, as we would like to expand to many different products. For instance, we announced new products on where we are putting security into drones. You know, drones require authentication and require the person that is piloting the drone to be able to be sure that the drone will not fly outside the restricted perimeter. So this is the kind of technology we are able now to secure. We're also very strong now in securing hardware like routers. WISeKey is securing a very large quantity of routers with our microchips. Our microchips are now being installed as well into batteries, into connected cars. We signed a very interesting agreement last year with one of the top German car manufacturers. Sometimes the market asks me to give names. I would love to give you names, in particular who are those manufacturers, but due to security reasons, the manufacturer do not want to disclose what type of security is going into their objects, as this will give information to hackers. That's the reason sometimes we don't disclose the name of the of our clients. When we can, we do it. When we cannot do it. WISeKey has a major assets that we are not yet monetizing, but this is something that in the future we'll be able to monetize, is that we produce a lot of data. data is the oil of the digital economy. So data has value. And WISeKey business model now is more selling the cybersecurity and selling the microchips. Although slowly we are entering into this data business, and we are able now, in cooperation with our partners and in cooperation with our clients, to also sell them the data we collect on their objects and products. And that data obviously has huge value, as using ethical artificial intelligence algorithms, we are able to data mine the data, anonymizing, so there's no way to track the data to the person, and this is something very important that WISeKey does that many other companies don't do. And that allows the data to be analyzed in a way that can be returned back again to the client, giving them predictability analysis on the behavior of their objects. Let's say how a car is going to function when the security is going to be compromised, when their brakes are going to require maintenance, and so on. So this business of data analysis is a very big business, and WISeKey slowly is getting into it, because the data we generate is high quality data. We are, as you know, maybe the world leader on digital identity. Digital identity is something hard to monetize, because WISeKey, like many other companies, are not selling the digital identity. We are providing at no cost. So people install a digital identity in their hardware computers, and the cryptographic rootkey of WISeKey has already been installed in nearly 4 billion devices, making one of the most installed rootkeys on the internet. So obviously this is a long cycle to monetize this type of technology. It's like, you know, WhatsApp, you know, you don't monetize WhatsApp, but this is important for Facebook, because it allows Facebook to have a huge number of recurrent users. The same spirit and the same business model applies to this. On digital brand protection, we are able now to embed a microchip, a very tiny microchip with the name NanoSeal, into everything, textile, you know, we have been talking to sport brands, to luxury garments and others, on where now those chips are able, with mobile phone technology, to authenticate. With the COVID situation, we have been receiving a lot of requests from organizations working on the health, as you need to authenticate everything that goes into a hospital. All the medical devices that now they are connected to the internet can be hacked, and you need to identify them, secure them, and encrypt them, so hackers cannot, through the internet, access those devices and compromise those devices. So this is a very big market. The negative impact on counterfeiting in 2022 is going to be $4.2 trillion. So this is a massive economy that has been created with illicit products that can be reduced if companies start to acquire products like WISeKey. At the beginning, it was a hard sell, because companies didn't want to pay for this technology. They didn't have the sensation that it was important for them to certify their products. They prefer to risk the being hacked or being copied, rather than put some security on their product. This is obviously changing now, as many new legislation on digital signature and data protection is forcing companies to provide authentication and protection on their products, as otherwise they can contribute to international illicit trade. So new brands are exploring our technology. This is a near field communication is receiving a huge boost now, because they are able to transmit data from the object to the person to the cloud. So the first time objects become intelligent if you have a near field communication chip that allows to send the data. WISeKey has announced just a few months ago a new product with the name IoT Beacon, which is a beacon that is inserted into an object, and that beacon provides a digital identity of the object, but also provides a temperature, which is going to be a massive and very important asset in the COVID pandemic situation, and also geolocation. So you can geolocate your object, and you can put on a digital identity, and that object will be sending temperature and geolocation to clouds. So again, the work of WISeKey is to make that simple, to integrate into a platform that allows consumers and brands to do it in a way that is not complex and do not compromise their investment already done in IT. I mean, many companies have invested a lot of money on IT and don't want to replace that by bringing another company. So WISeKey sits on the top of many existing platforms like Microsoft Azure, like ACP LearnR, like IBM Watson, and many others, as we have established partnerships that allows the company to integrate. The last one announced was with Oracle. So multi-platform, you can put a WISeKey layer in the top of existing systems, and that layer will be very easy to install, very simple to integrate, and will allow you to connect to any object that your company is producing, manufacturing, or any person that your company is related with. So again, the 3 steps is to embed the product into the object, and this is number one priority. At the beginning, this was very slow process. Now this is accelerating. Connect the object to the platform, and then engage with the platform in a direct consumer secure way. Imagine you go to the supermarket with your mobile phone and you want to tag a product, and you want to immediately get information about that product in your mobile phone. If that product is suitable for your health, if that product has whatever calories it has, all the information of the product will be immediately available to you. So these interactions between the product of the user is something that WISeKey technology enables. NFC is becoming dominant now. Before, one of the problems we have to deploy this technology is that it was not everywhere. I mean, iPhones were not NFC compliant, and some mobile phones had operating system has some issues with NFC. Now, this is not the case anymore. All the new generation of mobile phones, including iPhones, are NFC compliant, and the phone is becoming actually the terminal, as the phone is becoming the terminal for everything, including new applications that have been developed by WISeKey on the COVID situation, which are very interesting applications because it uses NFC technology to detect whether a person is infected or not by reading a certificate that is stored physically into the phone. So if you have a COVID infection, your certificate will say that, and that will issue a QR code on your mobile phone that will show that you are a person that is infected. Therefore, you cannot board into a plane or access into a public location, and you have to go into quarantine. But if your certificate shows that you are not infected and you don't have any virus, then that will show green, and that will allow you to access everything you need to access, because you will not be a threat to the persons that they are near to you. So this kind of technology, it combines digital identity, it combines NFC technology, and combine microchips that together create that trusted relation between the person's situation, health situation, and anyone that needs to verify the health situation in real time. And this is going to be a major industry. We are moving into a world of traceability, whatever we like or not. The world has changed already after the COVID situation. Is going to even change more. And people are going to be more willing to use WISeKey technologies because they feel protected, and they know that WISeKey, as a cybersecurity company, do not compile digital identity. The only data that we analyze is an anonymous data. We don't relate the digital identity with the behavior or situation of the user. And this is, again, is something very unique that makes WISeKey a unique offering in this space. So some applications we have developed during the year, very strong on WISeID. WISeID has become a dominant app. You can download that on the internet. We launched a Wise Phone application suite. So this is a software that you install into your phone that allows your mobile phone to be totally secure. You can do secure emails. You can do secure activity. At the beginning, we thought even to create a phone. And we did actually made a prototype of a Wise phone, a mobile phone hardware. But the hardware business is a total different business from the software business. And we with the size of the company, didn't make any sense to develop around phones. So rather continuing developing the Wise phone hardware, we decided to make the software available to people that they are producing phones in China, in many other places, in India. and they are using our software as a way to secure their funds. So this is a high growth vector that we believe is going to continue expanding in the future. Verticalization of the market is as you see, you know, those are the areas where WISeKey makes money now. Consumer and networking, you know, companies like Cisco, Panasonic, HP, securing their printers require WISeKey microchips. WISeKey has sold already 1.4 billion microchips since the beginning of the microchip sales. And those microchips are very low cost. So that means that you can put them anywhere. Connected cars, this is an emerging industry. We started to work with those two brands, but this is accelerating now. There's going to be a huge number of connected cars in the future, and driverless cars. Then they require strong authentication. There have been cases where hackers were able to compromise the operating system of the car, and by compromising the operating system, they managed to pilot the car or to crash the car or to accelerate the car. And obviously that has huge consequences in terms of cybersecurity that can be solved by just putting a microchip in each of the critical areas of the car. And that microchip, together with a digital identity, which is a unique identifier, can ensure that the car is not easy to hack from outside hackers. Luxury brands, you know that we have been in that field for many years. The luxury industry requires our technology because it is so easy nowadays to duplicate watches and luxury products, wine, liquors, expensive luxury items are in high demand, and therefore there's a lot of counterfeiting on that. And the brands not only they lose their reputation by having products which in some cases they are as good as the original but they are fake, but also the fact that they lose their relation with their customers. You know, so our technology allows those brands to secure their objects, connect their objects, and engage with their customers in a directed one-to-one basis, which was not the case before, as brands, due to the social media revolution, have lost direct connections with their customers. So reconnecting with the customers is very important. On a new emerging area where I think is going to be huge growth in the following years, and we are starting to see clients and they're already making orders, is all the medical devices. You know, 80% of the medical devices on the hospitals are not yet connected to the internet, and this is actually saving them of being hacked. For instance, on the case of the COVID respirators machines, some of them are connected to the internet, and the ones connected to the internet are actually highly dangerous because they can be hacked. So because they're not secure. So hospitals do not have the security infrastructure to secure those machines. So as we are moving from non-connected devices on hospital to connected devices, which is a requirement of the new security requirement, adding microchips on those devices to make sure that the hacker is not able to compromise their identification is going to be a huge market. And we are already seeing demand, as we're already selling to companies like Medtronic and Tyco and Johnson Control and Landis+Gyr, and these companies are heavy manufacturers of medical devices. And also a new area expanding in front of us, which is the energy sector, batteries, certification of batteries, and obviously the holy grail of IoT, which is smart cities, because one smart city requires something like 7 billion chips, and smart cities are slowly emerging. And again, I think the COVID situation is going to accelerate the digital transformation of countries, because they are realizing that countries that they have a better digital infrastructure and they have invested in technology and the internet and security and cybersecurity in particular, they have been much more efficient in reducing the infection and protecting their citizens. So I believe after this pandemic disappears, and we hope that that happens soon, we're going to be taking very important lessons on which have been the most effective countries in getting infected at the beginning, because this is impossible to stop, but also after getting infected, being able to reduce the infection, and in some cases neutralizing the infections, because information technology has been used in a very effective way to reduce the circulation of people, the geolocation of persons, all that information that was not able to be collected at the beginning is able to be collected now, and we can handle the infection, the pandemic, without a total lockdown. We can reduce the lockdown and just focus in areas where the infection emerged and handle those areas in a different way that that we had to do at the beginning, where everybody has to be in lockdown, and this obviously had a huge cost to the economy. So the only way we can do that is by having the technology that allows you total traceability, total identification, total connection, and having those smart cities reacting to whatever threat with early warning systems that will detect those threats before those threats become, like it is the case now, a global pandemic. So I just want to reassure you, the company, it has a solid foundation despite the loss of revenue last year because we sold the Covadis operations. We are doing well. The company didn't have any major debt. We managed to pay last year the very expensive debt that we had after we sold the Covadis. Part of the money of the benefit we made was used to pay that debt, and the only debt that we have is convertible debt that we can pay with our stock. Obviously, we don't like to do that, but it's the cheapest way to raise capital in the current industry. We had some issues, and obviously I am very much aware of the drop on the valuation of the share. As I explained during my CEO letter, this was mainly due to very big overhangs we had, because when you buy a company, you have to pay with cash and shares. And when those shares becomes available after the lockdown period, you can sell them, and that's exactly what happened. So a very big amount of shares become available last year. Over 3 million shares become available, and there was more offer than demand, and this has created the reduction of the current price, which do not, in my views, do not at all corresponds to the situation of the company. If you compare companies like WISeKey and companies in the same space listed on the NASDAQ in the United States, you will see that we are trading at 2 times, 3 times revenue, and these companies are trading 10 to 15 times revenue. So obviously, WISeKey needs to reach that level, and this is my objective during 2020-21, despite the crisis, is to being able to roadshow with the company in the United States, create the right awareness about what we are trying to achieve, demonstrate the uniqueness of WISeKey, reinforce the trust and the support from our shareholders, and being able to grow and bring the company to the level we believe we deserve and we believe we worth as WISeKey. Has a very strong IP base. We have something like 75 family patents in very critical areas like IoT. Some of those patents are worth millions of dollars. We never sold the patents. We wanted to keep them because we know that they're going to be very strategic as the company move forward. Those patents are on chip design, on NFC integration, on digital cryptographic keys installed into chips, on many areas, and they're going to be very interesting in the future. So we believe that WISeKey, with those patents and the right resources, we can make the company much, much bigger. We are still a Swiss company. I mean, we are listed on the Swiss Stock Exchange. We did the ADR 2 in the NASDAQ. The objective of the ADR 2 was only to give visibility. We didn't raise money on the NASDAQ. That was only to give visibility to the stock in the United States. But the consequence of that is that the volume in the United States is still small. The volume in Switzerland has increased. We are trading something like 75,000 shares a day. In the NASDAQ is still very small. We are obviously promoting now the company through a non-deal roadshow in the United States, which is going to start as soon as we can travel again. And for the time being, we are doing that through Zoom and video conferencing, as this demonstration we are doing here. And but in any case, we really believe that the company has huge potential. Companies like WISeKey normally have very large debts, which we don't have. As I say, only debt that we have, which is something like 5 million, is convertible debt. And the company has strong cash. We announced $60 million cash in Q1 this year, which gives, with the current burn rate of the company, 2 years and a half of operational burn rate. So we can by all means cross this crisis and exit at the end of this pandemic situation crisis as a winner, because we have the right technology, we have the right position in the market, we have the right brand DNA, reputation, IP, and size to leverage and convert WISeKey into a global growth company. So we are, as I say, our diversification is very important. We want to be more in the United States, so it's going to be a very strong focus in expanding the footprint of the company into the US. We did some penetration into Asia, in China, and also in Saudi Arabia with the establishment of a joint venture we established last year. And we are now in a situation where we will like also to be in South America. So global expansion into these territories is part of our strategy for the year. So I would like to thank you very much for your attention. The financial information of WISeKey, it's on the website. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always contact us through our investors website. We have also a set of webinars that WISeKey is creating. Those webinars are being very successful. We have a very strong participation. The next one is going to be on health industry, the 4th of June, sorry. So that webinar will, with experts working with WISeKey, will discuss about how WISeKey is playing into those new industries emerging in front of us. And we obviously will be providing audited review results, H1, as part of the disclosures, both on the NASDAQ and the Swiss Stock Exchange. So we'd like to thank you for your support, for your vote, for your active participation. I know that there are rough times for investors. I hope the market gets better. I think we are in a very strong position. WISeKey is 21-year-old company now, has survived many crises, and always we become stronger after each crisis, because cybersecurity is something that will not disappear regardless of what happens in the world. Complex worlds require complex technology, and we are able to provide that technology. So I'd like to thank you for your attention and for your support, and we wish you all the best. Be safe, in good health, and protect well your families. All the best. Thank you very much.